ago before I came down, and I saw more like sunny skies in the distance, and online it just says mostly cloudy. And it's, for the most part, been mostly cloudy all day without any rain. But I think we're just having a little blitz of rain. Just a sprinkle, if you will. And I just wanted to run out here for one more walk on a Friday. We'll wait for this now active block. This is 17th Street here, and Sansom is really this street. So this, and technically that's the 1600 block of Sansom, so 16th is way over there until it comes up to 17th. So this block has been closed for 4 years and recently opened, and everyone's so used to no cars coming down this way. All of a sudden they opened it like a couple weeks ago or so, and now it's an issue at that intersection to triple pay attention. There are cars coming from the east side heading west on the 1600 block past 17th Street on Sansom, and people kind of forget and they run out, you know, thinking that this is the block that was closed off for 4 years. I wanted to bring up something that occurred many years ago. It's kind of a sad story, but I figured let me put it out there because I've wondered if other people have experienced this. And this dates back to 2003, and around 2003, 2004. What spot, or 2002, 3, or 4. I'm forgetting exactly when. My step family wanted to hold a surprise roast birthday, like a marker, like 70 years old, and or let's see, it would have been 70 or 75. Anyway, but point being, it must have been 70 because it was way back when they first went down there. Anyway. Must have been 2003, I think. That sounds right. So, I think my dad was born in 37. Anyway, he's deceased now. Coronavirus, believe it or not. That's another story. But he and his wife decided at the end of the 90s, like around 98-ish, to move down to Florida. Like, he was gonna work another year or two. He was trying to figure out in his, you know, retirement 401k. He's one of these people who had a pretty steady job. He was able to stay there and accumulate like a typical retirement and so forth and so on. And I think he was going to stay a little bit longer, but for some reason they decided in the end, let's call it now, because I don't know why. I wondered if he started to really not like working any longer and what made him decide to leave sooner rather than later. So they decided at the end of the 90s to, you know, get a home, move down to Bradenton, Florida. And they were able to do this because of combined income, and my dad kinda did okay because he worked himself through college and just stayed at a bank called Wilmington Trust. It's not, they have a Wilmington Trust-ish bank now, but it was taken over by M&T, and now it's more like they don't have bank branches, I don't think. Anyway, point being, he's down there, and around 2003-ish, I, you know, get a call from someone in the step family. I don't know if it was my stepmother or one of the step siblings, but they said, we decided to have this surprise, you know, birthday party. It's like a roast and a surprise birthday party. Do you want to come? And this is how we're arranging the whole thing, and so forth and so on. So it would involve, you know, my dad would be kept occupied, thinking he was just having lunch with friends or whatever. I flew down to stay with my mom and aunt in Jacksonville, Florida, and I would get a rental car and drive down to Bradenton. So my mom, I guess my mom had just moved down there, so It must have been 2003. So I wound up staying with my mom in Jacksonville, driving down with a rental car to Bradenton for this event. So the way things unfold, I'm sort of, you know, the odd one out a little bit, whether intended or not. It just, that's the way it was. And anyway, feeling a little bit odd because of some people's behaviors, if you will. You know, a couple things went on that were kind of weird and uncool in terms of like conversation and everything. Hard to explain, but it's, you know, I have step siblings, and one of them just kept talking about a nephew of mine. You know, I told him he should do this, he should do that, he should do this, he should do that, he should do that, he should go to this kind of school, he went to that kind of school. And it's like, I don't know why he needed to have that conversation. I'm not really sure what the solution would be to have a conversation. Like, it doesn't really, it just seems like someone's judging, or like, you know, it's like, I don't really want to talk about my nephew. One, he's not here, and two, there's all kinds of decisions that were made about who goes to school where, and nothing you can do now because it's over. You know, like, he had already like finished school, like where he was or what have you. So unless he was being, anyway, I kind of like inched around the dining room table trying to get away from him talking while we were at my dad's house getting ready to go to the clubhouse, some sort of special clubhouse that they rented out or whatever, where the party was to be. So anyway, I'm like inching around, and he kept inching around behind me, and in a way I felt a little bit like skeeved out, like, just stop this conversation and stop stalking me. I actually felt stalked. It's hard to explain. So we all pile into our respective cars. I'm in the rental car behind, following my step-siblings and like the wife of my stepbrother. And anyway, I kind of broke down a little bit in tears because I was just exhausted. I usually have that reaction around my step-siblings for some reason. It's hard to explain. Not everybody fits perfectly, even if you want everyone to fit perfectly. So anyway, I'm like trying to, like, you know, get it together in the car. Lo and behold, we stop at a traffic light. I'm behind technically it was my stepsister's car, and everybody was in there, and I was in the rental car behind her. And all of a sudden, my stepbrother gets out of the side of the car. He was in the passenger seat. This was like an SUV, like say a Honda Pilot or similar. And he runs back to the car that I was driving, and he knocks on the window, and I'm like, oh God, he wants to come in. And we're at a traffic light where you feel pressured to go when it's green. So I open the door, and he's like, oh, we didn't want you to be by yourself. So see how it seems like he's doing something kind and nice and thoughtful? Or is it? Is it a form of stalking? Depending on what the situation is. So I felt obligated to let him in, and I'm sitting there, you know, my eyes are all red from crying. So it's hard to explain. We get to the clubhouse, you know, and it's okay, the roast. I mean, they didn't label it as a roast. I know I have another relative, an aunt, who got up there, and I guess she